I think everybody loves the Doctor because he's an adventurer. He's a freelander. I mean, he just goes wherever his heart takes him. And he's not scared, and he's interested in everything, and he's clever. He's all the things that I guess all of us want to be.
Doctor Who is both a niche show and a phenomenon. Almost everyone has heard of it, not everyone has watched it, but most who have are massive fans. That's despite the many controversies it's overcome. It's frequently violent and came out in a time of panic about media violence. Its stories also, unfortunately, coincided with real-life events. True tragedies have mirrored episodes a bit too closely for comfort. Keep watching to learn about Doctor Who's most controversial episodes. Early serials. Censors in Australia and New Zealand were strict with Doctor Who when it first aired in these countries. They were very particular about what could be shown. What's unique about these offending clips isn't that they've been found later, it's that they're the only remaining footage for many early episodes. Take the scene where Maggie Harris gets gassed in Fury from the Deep. There's also the knife-throwing scene in The Smugglers. The Time Meddler was recovered in Nigeria in the mid-1980s with a scene missing. It was a censored 12 seconds where the Vikings Ulf and Sven were killed. Avid Doctor Who fans who want to see every second of every season can now enjoy it. The scene was added to the remastered version of The Time Meddler in the Season 2 collection box set. Even the original actors were surprised to see them.
When I first saw it today on the big screen after 45 years, it was quite emotional.
Mission to the Unknown. This was another early episode cut by Australian censors. It was created in 1966 and meant to serve as a prologue to the 12-part epic group of episodes known as the Dalek's Master Plan. The censors couldn't bear Mission to the Unknown's bleak story. No new hero characters make it out alive. There are Vargo plants that infect victims and make them homicidal. It was all too much. The episode was banned from broadcast by Australian censors. It was missing for years until it was restored by the University of Central Lancashire in 2019. The TV movie. American censors are a bit lighter on horror and violence during primetime TV, so the Doctor Who TV film got a pass. Across the pond, British censors were reeling. They wanted to give it a very high 15 certificate. The BBFC suggested various ways to bring down the rating to a lighter 12. They had particular problems with the opening theater scene. Making it more palatable meant cutting scenes such as a probe being stuck in the Doctor's body and sounds such as McCoy's dying scream. The gun violence that killed the 7th Doctor also had to be cut down. It brought back too many horrible memories of the recent horrific school shooting in Dunblane, Scotland. That meant cutting scenes such as Chang Li's friends being gunned down, gangsters threatening Chang Li at gunpoint, and Chang's brutal death after the Master snaps his neck. Dedicated fans can still find the film in its original unedited form. Robot of Sherwood. The episode Robot of Sherwood was another example of Doctor Who material being censored due to recent horrific world events. It all began in 2014. The Islamic State beheaded journalists James Foley and Stephen Sotloff in response to airstrikes on Iraq. The Doctor Who episode shows the 12th Doctor and Clara discovering alien robots invading the fictional Sherwood Forest, where Robin Hood had his adventures. The town's sheriff is beheaded during a sword fight, revealing him to also be a robot. The script was written years before the 2014 beheadings, but it resembled them too closely. It aired on September 6th, 4 days later. The beheading scene was cut. It didn't take much away from the episode other than its final twist. The Pyramid at the End of the World. Doctor Who and current events can't seem to stop colliding. In the original story of The Pyramid at the End of the World, the monks offer to protect humanity from an upcoming catastrophe, but it's unclear what the danger is. There were references to potential terrorism, which the Doctor dismissed. The real world was then reminded of how real terrorism can be. It was on May 22, 2017, the Monday before the episode was slated to air. A suicide bomber attacked an Ariana Grande concert in the Manchester area. They killed 22 people and injured thousands. The reference to terrorism was cut from The Pyramid at the End of the World before it aired out of respect for the victims. Luckily, the episode worked perfectly fine without it. The Deadly Assassin. The Deadly Assassin was a 3-part episode. The ending caused a major ruckus, and not just among fans. It aired November 13, 1976. The violent episode had an equally harrowing ending. It stopped on a violent freeze-frame cliffhanger with Goth holding the Doctor's head underwater. Activist Mary Whitehouse spoke out against it. She quoted a young boy who allegedly said he would follow Goth's example and hold his brother's head underwater during their next fight. Mary was concerned about how the show would influence children and the world at large. She said, quote, "The program contains some of the sickest and most horrific material ever seen on children's television and represented a new barrier broken." She convinced the BBC to edit the master tape of The Deadly Assassin and remove the cliffhanger. The original image was restored with off-air home recordings, but the censored White House cut is what you'll find if you try to watch the episode online. The Talons of Weng-Chaing. One episode was put in hot water primarily due to cultural insensitivity. The Talons of Weng-Chaing, a 1977 episode, had white actors use makeup to portray Chinese characters. There were also several instances of racial slurs. The streaming platform BritBox took a cue from Disney Plus and put a content warning before it. BritBox provides a wide variety of programming from different decades for our subscribers to choose from. Some of this content reflects the times and attitudes of the time in which these programs were made. Appropriate warnings are on the site to flag sensitive material and enable our subscribers to make their own choices as to what they watch. The episode also had a large amount of violence. There was a moral panic about martial arts weaponry among the BBFC in 1988. That led to the loss of a scene where the Doctor and Leela face off against a nunchaku-wielding henchman. The Curse of Clyde Langer. The BBC iPlayer is a convenient way for fans to stream all their favorite BBC shows. If you watched the Sarah Jane Adventures, which was added to the platform in late 2022, you would have noticed that the two-part episode The Curse of Clyde Langer was missing. Even screenwriter Russell T Davies admitted he wasn't sure why it was removed at first. The story was well received and even won a Best Children's TV Script Award from the Writers Guild of Great Britain. It was later revealed that The Curse of Clyde Langer was banned and marked Do Not Use. There were historical complaints against its content. The episode shows Clyde cursed by an alien, Hetukumtekt, who is masquerading as a Native American god. He transfers the curse using a totem pole, said to have originated from the Mojave Desert. The problem is, Native Americans in the Mojave area never used these types of totem poles. Dalek. Screenwriter Russell T Davies has a soft spot for one monster on Doctor Who. When asked to choose between Daleks and Cyberman, he said,
Daleks, I love Daleks. I know they both kill you, but I just love Daleks.
The episode, named after the monsters, aired in 2005. It got a 12 rating when it appeared on DVD. The offending scene showed Christopher Eccleston's Doctor torturing a captive Dalek with electricity. It was another instance of worrying if children would imitate his behavior. The BBC said, quote, "We are concerned about role models for children using the sort of tactics that Doctor Who used against the Dalek. If that was transferred to the playground, it would be something we would want to tackle." Now it's time to hear from you. Have you ever seen any of these offending episodes? Let us know in the comments section below.